Hello, everybody. My name is Dee, and welcome to Books and Quirks. Today it's Friday, so it's time for a Friday Reads. Now, as you all know, we are still in the middle of Booktubeathon, and I have been doing well despite the fact that I work 8 hours a day. I have really buckled down in the evenings, and I have managed to finish 4 books already. I cannot believe it. Now, one of the books was very short, but still, I'm really proud of myself, and I thought that I would maybe finish 4 or 5 the entire week. But we still have today, tomorrow, and Sunday before Booktubeathon ends. So yeah, let me just quickly tell you what I finished this week. So the first book that I finished on Monday was A Monster's Call by Patrick Ness. This was an excellent book, very sad. This is a middle grade book about a boy whose mother is very sick with cancer. And it really is a powerful, impactful read, and it is only 200 pages, but there are also a whole lot of, pictures and things. So I was able to fly through it in a couple of hours without a problem. So I finished that on Monday, and I also started the first book in the Earthsea series. This is a bind-up of the first 4 books. So the first book is only this much. It's just under 200 pages. It's 100 and... Wait, where's the end of it? It's like 150 pages. I read this as a buddy read with Mel at Mel's Bookland Adventure, Cheryl at Sierra Flames Fan, Candace of Beacon Hill Books, and Sean of On the Stoop. Now, since this was a very tiny book, it was only a 3-day read. So we read on Monday, Tuesday, and we finished on Wednesday. This was, I had fun because it was a buddy read. I did not enjoy the story as much. I really didn't connect with the writing or the characters. Ursula Le Guin is a very famous fantasy writer, and this is considered, her books are considered classics, like modern day classics. They were written in the 60s, I believe. On the whole, it didn't connect with me, so I wound up giving it 3 stars on Goodreads, but in reality, for me, it was more like a 2.5. I just always wind up rounding up on Goodreads. But yeah, so I finished the first book in this, and we read it together, and I finished that on Wednesday. So while reading those on Tuesday and Wednesday, I picked up 2 books. The first book I picked up was New York Actually by Sarah Morgan. This is a contemporary romance taking place in New York City. I've read books by Sarah Morgan before, and I've absolutely loved them. So I was so excited. This is part of her Actually series. Really kind of sweet, and also animals play a big part in this because Molly is the 2 main characters, Molly and Daniel, meet while walking their dogs in Central Park. Molly is our main character. She is a writer, a blogger, a famous blogger who originally grew up in London but just moved to New York a few years ago, and she's trying to make her life here. She has become very successful. She lives with her dog Valentine, and she named him Valentine because he has a little heart nose. And Daniel is a divorce lawyer and concocts a plan to meet Molly when he sees her in Central Park. So I really thought this was cute. I flew through this in 2 days. It is just over 300 pages, but I'm telling you, Sarah Morgan is one of those writers that it just flows through easily, that you can fly through 100 pages in no time. I know you all know books like that from your reading experiences, and it's just some authors just have that magical quality, and Sarah Morgan is one of them. It's an easy read, it's a fun read, it's a fluffy read, and I absolutely loved it. And while I was reading those, I also read a little bit each day of My Mamma Mia Summer. This one was the one I was looking forward to the most. It is about a woman who has experienced some loss. her parents died when she was young. She was raised by her grandmother. She's now 28 years old, and her grandmother has recently passed away. She was very close, and they bonded a lot over their love of the Mamma Mia movie. Not the Broadway show, the movie. Um, and they just always dreamed of going to Greece and possibly even living there. And they just constantly listened to either the movie album or the ABBA albums, because Mamma Mia is based off of ABBA music. ABBA was a group from the 70s, I think. Yeah. Anyway, it's so good in my opinion. I absolutely love Mamma Mia. Now, I've seen the Broadway show twice. Of course, I've seen the movie multiple times. Absolutely love it. It has every quality I love, like Mamma Mia, Grease. It's partly romance, so it's just so good. And the romance is actually a very tiny part of this book. It's mostly about Laurel. Laurel is the main character. She decides to take a chance. Her and her grandmother had always wanted to visit Greece together ever since they had seen the movie. And she decides she's going to do it. She's going to go to Greece and have a 2-week holiday. She winds up falling in love with the island, doing all kinds of Mamma Mia things, making a whole bunch of friends, and just taking risks in her life for the first time ever. And she's still, of course, mourning over her grandmother. And she stays in this villa with an eccentric owner. It's off the beaten path. It is a villa that is very run down, and she specifically stays in that villa because it reminds her of the villa that Meryl Streep owned in the movie Mamma Mia. It looked very similar. It had similar kind of things. So, this was such a heartwarming book. There is a little bit of romance in it, but it's not the main point at all. And it's just so wonderful. The scenery, I could just see it in my head. I kept on stopping and singing the Mamma Mia music. So, just so great. So great. Mamma Mia, here I go again. My, how can I resist you? So, yay! So starting tonight and into the weekend, I will be reading 2 books. The first I already started, but I'm not that far in, and that is A Well-Behaved Woman. This is a historical fiction book, and it is about the Vanderbilts during the Gilded Age in New York City. So it's the late 19th century. It was during their heyday when their wealth was just astronomical. And they basically they were the upper crust elite of New York City. Now, A Well-Behaved Woman, I am doing for the challenge of read a book while wearing the same hat. So what I've been doing is the little bit I've read so far, I am just trying to read a bit every day, but I really have to ramp it up because Booktube ends on Sunday, is where I'm wearing this hat outside. So, I cannot see the camera with this hat on. Look at this. Anyway, it is the only hat I could find. I know I have a couple baseball caps somewhere, but I, for the life of me, cannot find them. So, it's this hat. It's a big, old, gigantic sun hat. And I've only used it outside. I would feel a little bit silly if I wore it inside, but it may have to be if it starts to rain a lot this weekend, which it's supposed to. I will just wear the hat inside and finish the book. But that is the challenge of wear a hat. And the last book that I have to finish for Booktubeathon by Sunday night, let's see if that happens, is A Forest of a Thousand Lanterns by Julie C. Dow. This is my YA book of the week. And it is a fantasy. I know I've heard a lot about it. I've heard it's really good. It is a Asian retelling of the evil queen from Snow White. So wrap your head around that. I love retellings. I love a little bit of fantasy. So Hopefully I really love it. It's part of a series. I'm not sure if it's a duology or trilogy or what, but this is the first book. And hopefully it'll be quick. It's just a little over 300 pages. So, I mean, none of these books were really huge. So, A Well-Behaved Woman is the longest book, and that is 400 pages. But yeah, this one should take me no time. Hopefully, I plan on starting a little bit tonight. I plan on reading both books at the same time. And by Sunday, hopefully I'll be done. And that is it. So that is all I have for you. That's everything I've read so far, what I'll be reading this weekend. After Sunday, I don't know what I'll pick up. I don't know. Probably one of my NetGalley books or maybe one of my romances. So that is all I have for you. I hope you enjoyed. I've loved watching all the BookTubeathon videos. Since I only have the nighttime to do my reading, I really haven't had time to participate in the videos. But I've had a blast watching everyone and joining in on some of the Twitter sprints. That was a lot of fun. And yeah, so I hope you all have a wonderful day. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. And I will see you all very, very soon. Bye.